Hey, friends, I think YouTube is grabbing this live stream now. And I want to thank everybody for being on board. This is Peggy Hall, and I'm here to add some positive value to your life, some encouragement as we get through these stormy seas of life. I have heard from so many of you that are struggling, that are suffering with losses. And it might be the loss of a loved one or a beloved pet. It might be the loss of a way of life, of your home, of a job, of your financial security. You might be grieving the loss of your good health. Perhaps you've got some kind of health challenges that you are facing. It's likely that you've experienced broken relationships, especially over these last few years. And I am no stranger to loss myself. I'm going to share a little bit of my story, but more importantly, I want to share some strategies, some practical solutions, and some support that you can get as you are going through your grief. What I want to do is read to you an email that came in from one of our subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed yet or resubscribed, please take a moment, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification, double check because YouTube likes to unsubscribe my subscribers. So this came in, I'll just use, keep it anonymous. And she said, "Hi, Peggy, I am grieving and I would love some support and help getting through it. I'm grieving the loss of our freedom, the loss of a healthy world and environment, and everything else that is on your list," kind of like the list I just mentioned. She says, "I have 3 sons who also don't see anything in their future to look forward to. They fear the mark of the beast. They fear tyranny, communism, social credit scores, basically the loss of freedom for them and their children as well. They see the clown world and everything and everyone who has gone mad." She writes, "I lost my mother a year ago. She came to live with me when she got the illness back in 2020. And I had already learned a lot from you and from others by then. So when we took her to the emergency clinic, one that allowed you to go in without suffocating yourself, they said she had pneumonia and she would have to go to the hospital. And I slammed on the proverbial brakes and I said, no way. My mother had all the comorbidities, so I know that it was not going to turn out well for her. I had already heard about the protocol that was killing a number of patients, and I was frantic. I was talking to another healthy American friend, and we figured out that the only thing that the hospital had that I didn't was an oxygen concentrator. Well, this friend happened to have one that his father had used. So my husband went and got it, and we brought mom back home to our house. But the concentrator was faulty. The compressor kept shutting off. And I stayed on the floor next to her bed all night, turning it back on and off and on until we could get one prescribed for her the next day by her insurance. My mother was better with the oxygen and she was off of it within 10 days. Hallelujah. But I'm going to leave out some of the personal details, but she did, unfortunately, pass away. She died of old age. And she said that having her sick and be under our care, was quite an ordeal. And it goes on. And I'll just kind of summarize what happens because it does get into some details that you may have experienced. Let me know if you have ever had the loss of a loved one and then the remaining family members turned on you. Grief makes people act in strange ways. And sometimes the loved one that passed away was the glue that held the family together. I've heard of so many of these stories in my many years as a grief share support participant and facilitator. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. But this is where additional suffering comes on top of the loss already. So you may have experienced that in your own family, in your own household. I've heard of divorces happening because of the extreme differences in perspectives on politics, on the government, on healthcare, on, moving ahead in life. And the spouses cannot see eye to eye on these things. And so they're suffering from these debilitating, broken relationships. There are a lot of money problems that come in, especially after the death of a loved one. They may have been the breadwinner. There may be unpaid bills. There may be loans and debt that you didn't know about. A lot of these things come to the surface. You may have found out about betrayals by your loved one that maybe still is living. So there are so many losses that we are grieving. And I think there are some collective losses that we are experiencing as a nation. Just look at the news. We are traumatized every day. I know that you don't watch the news. And if you do, this is your message to get off that news, that mainstream media merry-go-round. And you can pray for the circumstances that you can't change. But what I want to do is I actually want to help you experience and process all of these conflicting feelings and emotional overwhelm that you're going through. And I want to tell you that there is life after loss. So this lovely woman goes on to tell me that her family was basically destroyed by her brother that was engaged in all sorts of shenanigans to prevent the carrying out of the mother's will. And so she says, yes, I have a lot of grieving to do. I never really got to grieve my mother's death. My husband and I were with her at her last breath. My heart is so broken. Then my brother goes and does this to me when I thought all along we had a great relationship for 35 years. She said, it's unbelievable. Please let me know if you and Pastor David can do something to help me. I need hope. I know God holds the cards and no weapon formed against me shall prevail. God is fighting the battles even when I don't see it. I trust him to get me through, but it is still hard to stay strong. I really miss my mother. I wish she could come back for just a day to set this all straight. And so I could tell her how much I love her and to ask for forgiveness for anything I ever did to hurt her. Oh, that just really touches my heart. And I imagine it's the same for you if you are a person of empathy and compassion. So many of these losses are universal, whether it is a loss of a loved one, like your beloved mother, a spouse, a child, a sibling, a best friend, a beloved pet, a loss of a home, a job, your health, financial difficulties, as I say, betrayal, like this young woman experienced with her brother. It is very, very distressing. And I want to tell you that there is an opportunity for healing. So these are such touchy topics. And what I want to do is actually, I'm going to show you this program that I have for you that I put together at your request. And I'll just briefly show you where it is in case you're interested. And then I want to actually, I worked on this late last night, putting it all together. And as you know, evil often happens when we are trying to shine God's light of truth and help people on their path. Sometimes evil will step in and try to pull us underwater. That's why one of my phrases is kick harder and swim faster, to kind of leave all of that behind. I worked on this late last night. And when I went to hit save, the entire page went poof. So I recreated it from scratch. I was not going to allow that setback to stop me. And that is one of my sayings. There's always another way, and I am going to find it. I will handle whatever comes up. Luckily, the words and the message that I wanted to share with you was still fresh in my mind. So I stayed up till about 12:30 in the morning, which is actually kind of early these days for me, and got this out for you. So let me show it to you. It's a labor of love, and it's because you asked me for this. So I'll show you the webpage, and then I will it's over here. Oops, let me just click this off. And this is over at thehealthyamerican.org. You can click on the link. Make sure it's org, thehealthyamerican.org. Click on Life After Loss, and it will take you up to this page. And here I have got a message for you with lots of information and where you can enroll, and then information about your teachers, me and my husband, Pastor David, and then a special message from me to you. So let me just share some of this because as I say, it's a labor of love. It came directly from my heart, guided, co-producer, the Holy Spirit, also known as the Holy Breath. Did you know that? That's why the evildoers wanted us to suffocate our breath of life. And I never did. I think it's fine for those of you that felt it was the right thing for you. I never did. God convicted me and said, do not restrict your breathing. It's your breath of life. You worship me through your breath. So I never did that. And the Holy Breath is another name for the Holy Spirit. So let me just share with you my message. And then I do want to look at your comments in the chat. I'm so grateful for all of you. And, my prayer is that we support each other. I've always said that about my audience here on YouTube, that you're so supportive, you're sophisticated, you are able to read between the lies, and you are able to offer your point of view in a compassionate, empathetic manner. I think that's so important. So let me share with you my message to you. And again, this image I think is so compelling of a woman here that is not only grieving, but what I love about this message is she is getting support. This to me says it all. I mean, this can bring me to tears just looking at it. Think of someone that offered you support in the time of your loss, betrayal, heartbreak, diagnosis, the stormy seas of life, having someone that you could hug, that you could rely on. She literally has a warm shoulder there, a caring person to absorb and receive her sorrow. And it is so very important that we do not go through this alone. And that's why, at your request, I created this live, private, 4-week online program. We were going to do it in person. I think it is important that we hug and share and connect heart to heart, shed our tears, help carry the burden of others' sorrow, and help them side by side as we begin to heal. But given the cost of travel and the intensity of going through the program just over a weekend, I think that that's kind of also emotionally challenging. So we decided to do it over a course of 4 weeks. And it's going to be every Thursday from, it's going to be 1 to 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're on the East Coast, that is 4 to 5:30 p.m. And then, of course, we'll still have time for my show on Thursdays that I do, and also my Monday show. But the point is, we'll have this opportunity to be together in a confidential, private format. This information is not aired anywhere else. And let me just bring you my message. So when the pain is too much, and you're not sure how you can go on, I want you to remember that there is life after loss. While it is not the life you had planned for, hoped for, worked for, it is a life worth living. While you may feel it's impossible to get over your losses, I'm here to tell you that you don't need to get over anything. You see, some broken hearts will only truly be mended in heaven, but you still have time here on earth. I know what it's like to suffer multiple losses of loved ones, animals, the loss of your financial security, health, relationships, a job, trust, to feel that the world as you know it has been turned upside down, to feel as if you're drowning and you can't breathe, to want to run from the reality of what has happened, to wish you could have changed things. And as you're feeling the outrage, the despair, the sorrow, the regret, the anguish, the disbelief, I want you to remember that those feelings are normal, they're natural, and they're valid. They deserve to be expressed and released. I know that they're painful, often overwhelmingly so. And whether you've suffered a loss recently or decades ago, I still can feel the pain of my early losses. I want you to know that there's always room for more healing. And I'm here to support you every step of the way, along with my husband, Pastor David. You don't have to grieve alone. I'll show you how you can let your sorrows be sorrows without drowning in the river of pain. I'll be there to listen to your story if you want to share it. And I'll be right by your side as you take each step toward creating a new and different life. Let me show you this other image that I have that is more encouraging. And I chose this specifically because I love the footprints in the sand. If you know that story about seeing one set of footprints and feeling that you were abandoned by God, but in fact, it was his footprints and he was carrying you through your burden. And the image of being able to move ahead, not to forget. I don't like the idea of, moving on in life, but it is moving ahead and integrating and adapting what you've been through and then creating this new and different way of life. So what we've got is a 4-week private live online program offering support and encouragement in a caring community with prayer and practical steps to help you as you grieve your losses and ultimately begin to create a new life. I know it may not be the life you wanted, but it is a different life, and it can be a life and should be a life with meaning. So we get underway. I'm filming this on Monday, which is May 6th. We start on May 9th. It's 4 Thursdays in a row, 90 minutes each. And we meet online in a private, confidential live format. Each session is 90 minutes. The sessions are recorded for your convenience. The sessions are not to be shared with anyone else. It is a confidential format. I expect that everyone who participates is going to honor the confidentiality of the personal information shared by others. You can join anonymously. You do not appear on screen unless you desire. You can set your name on your Zoom to make sure that no one sees it if you want to be anonymous. And you don't need any special technology. If you have a cell phone, you can join. If you have a computer, you can join. So what you can expect is a caring group of supportive individuals grieving and healing from losses. Again, you can have your anonymity. If you would like to come on camera, you can raise your hand, and then you can share your story in a brief 2 to 3 minutes. And you can also chat in our private group. Now, what I love about our private webinars is that relationships are formed, and often those relationships are continued offline. People are sharing their phone numbers, their email addresses. If they're living locally, they meet up. So it is an opportunity for you to develop that support group that is essential in your journey for healing. I have always said that grief needs a witness. In fact, I think I will link that for you, replay that for you, because it is such a powerful video. And I speak from experience of wanting to isolate and pull the covers over my head and just check out of life and like wake me when it's over. And that's all right. If you are feeling the need to do that, there's nothing wrong with you honoring the ups and downs and the waves of your emotions. But when it starts to impede and intrude upon your ability to function, then we need to look at addressing that. And that's where having a support group comes into play. So you are going to learn specific strategies and tools to help you with acknowledging and accepting your losses. For many of us, the very first response is denial. Like, I don't believe it. And I see that in my day-to-day dealing with people who don't want to face the reality of our world, literally, of what we're being shown in the media and how that's twisted and distorted and orchestrated. The propaganda that is sloshed all over you to keep you in perpetual fear, that people are gravitate toward that because they don't want to face the reality of being bamboozled or hoodwinked or duped by the powers that shouldn't be. We can really tie that in to those who don't want to face the reality of their situation, of their loss, of their current challenges. So accepting that is one of the most powerful phases in your healing, and you don't have to do it alone. I'm going to help you with specific strategies and tools to process and release all of those emotions that all get mixed up together. It's like a tangled mass of anger and sorrow and regret and frustration and outrage, dealing with what ifs. Why did I do that? Why didn't I do that? The shame, the guilt, the blame. Really, those feelings of guilt and remorse and regret are so devastating. I want to help you through that. We talk about improving your own self-care because it's only until you take care of your physical body as well as your spiritual, your emotional, your intellectual, your mental, your social, your creative, all of those aspects that make up this amazing, magnificent individual that you were created by God to be. I want to help you elevate and come into your own in that area. Often when we are grieving, we neglect ourselves, our home, our families, and that is a sign of an opportunity to grow and heal. I'm kind of an expert in that area with my many losses, so let me be that support for you. I also want to offer the opportunity as you heal, it may not be today, but down the road where you can actually embrace what I call the gifts of grief. They are out there. And when the time is right, you'll be able to recognize them, embrace them, and then integrate them and use them to bless others. And I believe that's how God has it planned, to allow those blessings of your losses. I know it sounds outrageous and you may not want to hear that, but they can work in your life and you can use them to help and bless others. I promise you, it is possible. I want to help you integrate your losses into your life and going forward so you can create this new and different life and actually honor the loved ones and honor your previous life by doing so. Finally, and perhaps the most important, in my view, is to help you find your purpose and meaning as you move ahead and create your own life after loss. That's why I've called it life after loss, because it is possible and it can happen. When you join the program, I'm going to tell you about one of my earliest losses. I was barely 18, 19 years old, and what happened one summer that was so tragic and so devastating, it changed my life forever. And I believe that there was a hidden, strange sort of gift that helped me become a person actually to this very day, full of joy and optimism and positivity and determination because of what I went through. So I'm here to tell you it's possible. Now, if you feel that this is something that you're like, I need this, Peggy, then I want to tell you about the next steps. If you feel like, my life's going great, I don't think I need this, then please share this video and the link that I'll leave for you in the description box below with a loved one or someone that you know that is going through a difficult time. Also, let me know if you have ever had any type of traditional therapy, with a psychologist or a psychotherapist. And I want to let you know that my husband, Pastor David, and I, we are not licensed psychologists. This is not psychotherapy. I'm going to tell you about our training and why God has called us to do this work in just a moment. But if you are interested in enrolling, it is a 4-week program. It adds up to, 90 minutes a week. So it's 6 hours. Sometimes I go overboard with the classes. We keep, talking and coaching until your questions are answered. And if you have ever had psychotherapy or have gone to a counselor, it is, I don't know what, $150 an hour, something like that, in that ballpark range. And we want to make this accessible. So the enrollment fee is $95, not per week, but for the entire course. And if this is a financial hardship, I want you to email my assistant, Olivia, support@thehealthyamerican.org to find out about a reduced payment. And if you are able to bless someone with a scholarship to enroll, you can also contact Olivia and she will let you know how to do that. I don't want anybody to miss out on this because of a financial hardship. The reason why we charge for this service is because in prayer, we really contemplated and asked God for direction on this. And our wisdom has shown us over the many years. I've been a teacher my entire life. I've done many, many online programs and health retreats and encouragement coaching. And the fact that I have learned is that when people invest financially in a program for their growth and healing and development, there's more of a tie-in. I find that they are more motivated and involved. For example, when I helped with religious exemptions, I probably had well over 500 videos just dedicated to religious exemptions for free on my YouTube channel. But it wasn't until people invested in a private class where they got, basically the same information, although I could help them in their individual cases. But the basic information was there for free. But when people are invested, they really take it to heart. And that's what I want for you. I want you to have the best possible outcome. It's our hope and prayer that this ministry of life after loss is going to be a source of blessed growth for you. And it is a ministry. So when you enroll for the course, it will be through the One True Hope Church. That's Pastor David's church. So that is your donation, your financial gift to the ministry. And that is how we can keep our ministry going to continue to bring you these programs and help you where you need to heal and grow. So here I'll share the screen again, and I'd like to show you this brief description of the teachers. Of course, I am going to be there, and here we go. So I am no stranger to grief, having experienced multiple losses of family members, of friends, of my beloved pets. And I'm a trained lay counselor. I've spent years in grief share settings, both as a participant and a facilitator. And a grief share setting is basically what we're going to create for you online. So the grief share, these were programs that were run at churches. And I'm not reproducing that information, but I'm embellishing it and actually creating it in a way that makes sense for me and you as a participant. When you enroll, you'll have an opportunity to email us a snapshot, basically a summary of what you're struggling with, of any support that you've got going on now, and how specifically you would like our help. So it's a very customized program for you. I'm a lifelong educator. I'm an encouragement coach. I've done that for years, and I have dedicated my life, not only here on YouTube, but in my many years in various different forms of teaching and coaching and encouraging. My goal in life is to teach and inspire you, to empower you and encourage you to develop the optimism and determination to handle the stormy seas of life so you can look forward to brighter days ahead and create your new and different life after loss. And then here's my husband, David Hall. I just love this picture, one that I took recently. He is an ordained Christian pastor, and he specializes in care for the soul. In addition to preaching and teaching, Pastor David is the founder of One True Hope Church. Again, that's where your enrollment fee will go. And I let me interrupt myself for just a moment here, because I know some of you are going to ask. This is a bona fide church. It is not a 501c3. And I know that there are some restrictions being tangled up with the IRS in that way. Everything is legitimate and bona fide, and you can get a financial since these are financial gifts and donations, you can do a tax write-up if that's something that's of interest to you. And if you need a receipt for that, we are happy to provide that. But I did just want to let you know, for those of you that are concerned and sensitive to the restrictions that the government places on 501c3 nonprofits, churches are not required to be registered with the IRS under a 501c3. And One True Hope Church is not, although it is a corporation, completely legitimately formed. And I just wanted to let you know that, for those of you that would be concerned. So let's go on and learn about Pastor David here, shall we? He is an ordained Christian pastor who specializes in care for the soul. Pastor David is the founder of One True Hope Church and is a trained lay counselor with years of experience in supporting those who are struggling with grief, loss, and unresolved emotional wounds. Pastor David's warm, caring, and compassionate approach is Christ-centered, with biblical insights into the nature of suffering and finding the true source of emotional and spiritual healing and peace. I also want you to know that I'm also trained as a lay counselor. So we went through an intense training where we learn how to listen and just be a compassionate, caring person for those who are suffering. And then my many years in grief share also qualifies me, in addition to just being a caring person. I don't think you need any certificates or qualifications, but there are some pitfalls that even our loving loved ones can fall into when they're trying to help us heal. And sometimes it's the exact wrong thing that can actually make us feel worse. So I want to help you in all of these ways. Now, I do want to let you know that you don't have to be a Christian. You don't need to be a person of faith to go through this. We are speaking holistically about how to heal, and we want to hear your stories, and you're going to be getting practical tips and tools to help you heal. Everyone is warmly welcomed. In my audience, we have atheists, we have all manner of faiths and no faith. And I think God wants you exactly here so we can be your support and pray for you if you desired. We are not therapists. We are here to provide a caring, supportive environment for those like you who are grieving and who want our support, empathy, prayer, and practical tools to help you create your life after loss. Now, listen, if you are overwhelmed and you need immediate support, or if you know someone that is in a crisis situation, there are crisis and suicide lifelines out there. And so I also have links for that I will have for you below, and you can do a quick search online. So no one has to suffer alone. There are many caring people that you can reach out to immediately for help. So if this sounds something that is going to help you, it would be so wonderful to see you in this class. And I want to leave you with a note that I wrote for you at the end of this enrollment page. And it says, "Dear one, I know what it's like to be drowning in the river of sorrow, to struggle just to breathe and to live one more day, to try to find the strength, courage, and perseverance that is needed to face and experience and process devastating loss. I may not be able to fully help you mend your broken heart. As I said, some broken hearts are only mended fully in heaven, but I will be here with you every step of the way, right beside you, offering support, guidance, prayer if desired, caring, compassion, empathy, and understanding, because I do understand the nature of these losses. I want to help you express, process, and integrate your losses into your life so that you can not only endure what you're going through, but even enjoy life once again. Maybe that's not your goal. Maybe your goal is to just get through each day until God calls you home. Your goals may change. Those are up to you. I hope that you will be open to those changes, and so will I. I'm sending you hugs and understanding and prayers for your healing and peace. I want to thank everyone for being on board today. I really appreciate you being a part of this audience. As you know, I have a free Substack, and I actually have two of them for my Living Swell channel. It is Peggy Hall. No, I'm sorry. It's livingswell.substack.com. And then for more of the current events, that is peggyhall.substack.com. I'm going to be promoting this program that we have over the next several days, talking about loss, about life after loss. I want to hear your stories. If you feel that you would like to share in the chat, if you'd like to leave a comment, not only in the live chat, but in the comments below the video, that way people that are just stumbling across the channel will see it as well. If you'd like to email and let me know what you're going through, that is support@thehealthyamerican.org. For those of you that do follow my Healthy American channel, and that is at 4 p.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday, I do want to let you know that I'm going to be replaying this video this evening. I'm going to have a second video for you as well, but this one is so important that I want to share it with my other audience as well. So I hope that you'll watch it again and that you will gain something from it upon rewatching. I always like to watch my own videos a second time because I catch things that I didn't hear the first time around. And wouldn't you know it, just between you and me, sometimes people see things and hear things that I didn't even say. My second video for you over at The Healthy American is going to be called "People Hear What They Want to Hear and They Disregard the Rest." I don't know what's happening. It's astounding. I've had a whole sequence of people emailing me with their concerns about things I said, and like I never said them. And I go back and I ask them, and I go back and I watch the video they're talking about. It's like, I never said that. I know. But here's what concerns me. Not that they misinterpreted my words. That I don't really care about because I know what I said and did. But here's what troubles me. It's evidence that they are struggling with emotional wounds that were never healed. How do I know that? Because they are projecting onto me their frustration, their confusion. Their mind is so full of fear or confusion or frustration or anger or sorrow that they literally cannot even see and hear what is presented to them. That is what troubles me, my friends. So I will never, ever stop speaking and teaching about healing your losses. The good Lord knows we've had plenty, and the good Lord knows we will have more. And every time we get through one, we don't need to feel like I'm getting worn down. You can feel stronger, that you are developing greater skills to stand strong and to find that optimism, determination, and dare I say, faith to step forward into your future. Friends, I love having you as a part of this community. So many of you tell me how much you appreciate my encouraging words, but I tell you, I get it back tenfold, 1,000-fold from all of you. Please know how much I appreciate you being a part of this encouragement community. And I want to thank you in advance for sharing this video, for clicking through to the description box below, checking out the Life After Loss class, enrolling if you think this is something that will help you. And if you can't make it live, all of the classes are recorded. It is going to be private, confidential, and we will repeat this down the road. In fact, we have plans for the next month's class is going to be how to heal broken relationships. So our goal moving forward is to expand a lot more with Pastor David's ministry and to bring you these classes focused on healing these emotional wounds, the devastating losses that we've all experienced, and to actually develop the tools to become the magnificent person that God created you individually, specifically to be. Thank you, everyone. God bless. I could go on forever. You know, sometimes I do. And I look forward to seeing you in an upcoming video. Be sure that you're subscribed to those Substacks. And I look forward to seeing everybody in an upcoming broadcast.